Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about Brass Birmingham. Hopefully you can see that all right. I think the light's kind of hitting it kind of hard. Brass Birmingham. This is a game that is from what I know of it, kind of a reinvention of an older game. They reinvented another Birmingham or Brass. I can't remember what the original was. They rebuilt that into another game, and they also created this, so it's the same kind of thing but a different version of it. So this is Brass Birmingham, and it is a sweet game. I think the thing that is most difficult about it is just trying to keep track of all these little pieces, but once you get the hang of it, really not too bad. There's some things that, there's some exceptions that I think make the game a little bit more difficult to keep tabs on. So that is, the one downside is if you're not into in-depth games, this isn't going to be a game for you. It's very in-depth. It's a game that's going to take a little while, but if you like that kind of stuff, if you like the map control, building up your civilization, there's a lot of similar aspects to a lot of other games. If you like that kind of game with some heavy strategy involved, then this may be one for you. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. So each player is going to get their own little player mat here. The board is two-sided night and day, but it doesn't, and these are two-sided night and day. It doesn't change anything at all. The only difference is the artwork and what you like best. So you're going to set up the board and the game kind of like this, to where everyone has their own player board, and then put all of these little tiles for all these different buildings and things onto your board accordingly. And then you're also going to have these links right here. So on one side they have these little boats, and there's going to be one kind of canal era that you're going to go through, and then the second era is going to be the railroads. And so you can see on the board some of these have just a canal, so this space you can only put the boat there, whereas this space right here you can only put a railroad. But you start out and you play through all of the cards in the game, and there are different cards depending on if you're playing with 2, 3, or 4 players. You should be able to very easily see that right there. So you deal out 8 cards to each player, and then you go through as many rounds as it takes to go through those cards. So that entire thing is the canal season, and you're looking just for the rivers as you're putting these down. And as you put them down, there are other things that you can do as well. So you're connecting your own network, and then you are connecting to the grand network, is kind of how I like to look at it, with the other person that's putting their boats on rivers as well. And then later on, after that, you're going to transition to the railroad section, railroad era, where you are now putting railroads down and you're doing only railroads. So they're 2 separate eras. You're not doing both at the same time. You're doing just one at a time. And then you have your money. You've got your money right here that you're using to create different things. And as you're doing that, you also have these buildings, which you'll start at the bottom, but if you're connected to one of them, then you can put that in these different spaces. And some of them get you different things. So like if I put this coal mine right here, if I was connected to that and put that coal mine down right there, then I'd get to take 2 of these, not from here. Sorry, I don't want to confuse you. Not from here. There's a bunch of other black cubes which represent the coal, and then orange ones which represent iron. And so this has a symbol for 2 of those black cubes. So you would take them from the supply pile, put them on that. And then if you use those, you would get to flip that over. So you use coal for different things, and you can even sell it back to the market if you're connected to the market, some of those things. And then if you do that, you then get victory points for that, which you would move up over here at the end of that era. You count all of those. And then also this moves up your income by 4 spaces. And so it's not just 4, it's 4 spaces. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'd end up at 2 still. So that's kind of an interesting piece of how that works as well. So there's your barrels here, or your beer, I think, is probably what that is. You've got these boxes right here. I'm not sure actually what that is supposed to be. You've got kind of housing, your coal, your ironworks, and then I don't know if this is like, it looks like pottery, but it looks like there's a little door down there, so I don't know if that's like a little house or something. I'm not sure what it is. But they all give you different things, and you're creating and growing your different things to create your little empire here on the board. And I love the fact that it's got kind of two major chapters to it. There's a lot of different good decisions to make. You've got this card that is very, very helpful when you're playing, just to be able to look at the things you can do on your turn. So what a game round looks like, 1, 2, 3, and then your actions, you're able to perform 2 actions, and then refill your hand up to 8. So like I said, running out of the cards is when the second era starts. All these actions you can build, you can network, you can develop, you can sell, you can get a loan, or you can scout. So a lot of different options of what you can do, and I'm not going to dive into all of that right now, but this is intended to be a quick overview to let you know a little bit about this game and whether it may or may not be right for you. So hopefully that did give you a little bit of information about this. It is a fun game. I think the cons would be if you're not looking for an in-depth game. There is a lot to try and keep track of, and it can be difficult when you pull this out to just understand all of the rules to be able to actually play. But once you do, if you enjoy strategy, I think this is a really fun game. I love the pieces, the mechanics. I mean, these little barrels right here are just super fun, and all the cardboard pieces are quality. So it's just a fun game to be able to just pull out of its box and be able to set up and play. So hopefully that gives you guys a touch and a taste of what this is, what it does, and why it may or may not be right for you. Thanks.